So I haven't really posted a video lately. A lot of it being for personal reason. Just been busy. Maybe I'll make a video talking about that if people want to see it. But for right now, I've been preoccupied with life, stuff going on. Before people ask, everything is fine with me, my wife, my daughter. We're fine. Everyone's doing good. With that said, I've been preoccupied with my auto detailing as well as my actual job. And there's also stuff going on at home, which we'll leave for another video. I legally don't know if I can openly discuss it, but that'll be for down the road. So, I do plan on doing some videos as far as auto detailing, because honestly, I think it's a really fun hobby, and I want to be able to impart some of what I've learned to other people, and you know, I really feel like it's a really cool thing when when people learn new how to do new things. And I think with auto detailing, the learning curve for it is very small. And honestly, I'm also a fan of people making sure their cars stay neat, stay clean, and they just look nice. There's something about driving in a nice, clean car that feels really good. And there's something really satisfying about doing that. But that's not what I'm talking about here. So there'll be videos for that later. But there's definitely something I want to talk about, and it's called gatekeeping. Some people might have heard of it. Gatekeeping. And I bring it up because I found that it's very prevalent in a lot of things, especially my hobbies. Like in video gaming, gatekeeping I feel really isn't. It's not as bad. It really depends on what area of gaming you're referring to. But let me just back up a little bit. Gatekeeping, how am I defining it? Or how is it really defined? The term itself basically means somebody or some people who are personally influencing you based on their personal opinions or experiences without really taking you, the main person, into consideration. Now, some people might be thinking, well, that's not terrible. I mean, I ask for opinions, yes, and that's fine. I'm not talking about asking for an opinion or asking a question. What I'm talking about are those times where maybe you ask a very open-ended question, like in video gaming. I ask someone, hey, what's a good fighting game to play? And you people will usually pitch out a few ideas based on their personal preferences, and that's fine. But when I'm talking about it are the ones that feel as though they need to get a little too involved to the point where they're completely disregarding the question itself. I'll ask, hey, what fighting games do you recommend? I've only played like Smash Brothers. And then you'll get these people. Well, I've often felt that fighting games really aren't that interesting anyway. You should really look into XYZ. So that's a form of it. Or you can already have an opinion based on something, and then said person will interject and say, no, that's dumb, I played it, you shouldn't play that, no, go play Tekken instead, Smash is terrible. And I'm like, well, I don't know, I really feel like I want to give it an honest try. No, I played Smash, it's terrible, bro, it's the worst, you'll never have any fun. And that's what I mean. It's that need where people feel like they need to make that choice for you based on their personal preferences. And the problem I have with that is that if you let people do that, you run the risk of missing out. I missed out on movies, games, all kinds of cool stuff because I let people's personal opinions on things dictate how I'm going to enjoy myself and my personal time when it comes to video games, movies, etc. In board gaming, it's no different. I'd argue in board gaming, it's weirder in board gaming because some people try to hide it a little bit better, but you still come across it. Like I asked somebody, hey, what's a good deck builder to play? I have Star Realms, I have Clank, I'm looking into some other ones. And I'll run into, oh, deck builders are dumb. You should try this game. It's not a deck builder, but it uses cards. Like if I'm asking, hey, what do you think of this product? And they're like, uh, or I'm sorry, I'm asking a more vague question about it, and they're personally interjecting how they feel about this when I didn't ask. So I'll never forget. I was asking a question based on one of my favorite publishers, Days of Wonder, for tabletop games, and I said, "Hey, what's a really good Ticket to Ride expansion game?" The basically, I'm trying to get away from the original game, Europe, and then I think it's called Rails to Sales or Sale, whatever, the other way around. And I had someone tell me, "Oh, well, Ticket to Ride's stupid. It's not really all that interesting. If you're looking for a train game, you should look at Rising Sun, or you should look at Age of Iron or something." And I was like, okay, well, my question was, if you were to recommend an expansion, what would it be? No, you shouldn't do that. That's stupid. Or, if someone who's just getting into the hobby, which is probably the worst culprit of this, because normally people who've been into gaming of any kind, they can weed these people out. But when you got brand new people in the hobby and you're automatically just ruining their first experience by basically trying to live through them, that I have a problem with. So many people in tabletop gaming is this true with. They'll come in these mini groups and they'll ask, "Hey, what are some good games for myself to try and play with, my wife, my husband, my friends, my kids, people at church, people at the coffee shop, X, Y, and Z." And they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of Settlers of Catan. That looks like it's a lot of fun." And then you'll get this guy. "Well, that game is extremely overrated and it's not nearly as complex as it likes to be." And it's like, see, that's my point. You're not letting these people come to their own conclusion on their own. You're trying to do it for them because you hate the game. I see that so often. I see that so often. Video gaming, no different. People who are just like, just getting a Nintendo Switch, for instance, and they're asking, "Hey, what are some good games?" I was thinking about getting, like, I'm trying to think of a random Switch game. Like, I thought about getting Mario Kart Deluxe on the Switch, and they're like, "Oh, that game is trash. I play it online all the time, and it sucks. It's so unbalanced." And they're like, "Oh, well, I look like it was a lot of fun, and I want to play with, my brothers." "Oh, don't play it. That game is stupid." And it's just this unneeded feeling that you have to interject your personal preference into someone else's gut feeling. Like, if I could go back in time and tell them, remember this feeling of when you first discovered something and how much you loved it and how much of an impact you had on your life? Do you remember how pure and honest that was? Okay, now fast forward 20 years and completely take that away from someone else because you felt like your own personal experience was worth more than theirs. And that's the biggest problem I have. Auto detailing is the same thing. One group I was in, I asked a question, "Hey, what are some of the better wheel and tire cleaners that you all use?" And I got a variety of answers. And somebody had mentioned, you mentioned an Armor All brand. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I have used it. I found it had really good results." And I had somebody comment on it saying, "Armor All products are all cheap garbage, and anyone who buys them clearly doesn't have the money to get something better." I'm like, well, hold on. There do exist cheap products that have really good results, and I personally believe that this one product is. No, all Armor All is trash, and anyone who uses it on their cars doesn't care about their automobiles. And see, that's my point. And I'm not making this video for the sake of teasing these people. Mainly, I want it to look at, as like an inward look at ourselves. Because I'm not saying that all of us are so blatant about it, but maybe we get so passionate about a subject that we don't often take ourselves out of it for a minute and realize that these people need to come to their own conclusions on their own. They need to discover these things on their own. They need to have those pure moments where they find these things on their own and they experience it without you having to do it for them. That is why these passions turn into such big things for a lot of people, and it's a love that grows and expands. And I don't know, I just feel like I wanted to talk about it. I can't tell you how many times there was, and I'm not naming this person, but in a board gaming group I was in, oh my goodness, this person literally would grill me based on his personal opinion as to how a board game hits my table because he doesn't agree with it. Because he didn't like the fact that, oh, well, if me, my wife, and however many people look at my shelf and say, hey, let's try that game, and if we can all come to a consensus on it, we play that game. He didn't like that. In his eyes, it should be my choice whether they want to play it or not, because I am the owner of that game. And I'm like, well, have you ever been sat in front of something you didn't want to watch, indulge in, something, or had something in front of you to eat that you didn't want? And did you ever have a real positive experience from something like that? No. I'm like, okay, how do you think that would apply here? So, I don't know. It's people like this that feel like they need to have their claws, their tentacles involved deep into your personal, lives, that it really boggles me. If there's something I've definitely learned over the last few years, it's come into things on your own, go with your gut, trust your instincts, and give it a try yourself. It's okay to ask for opinions, and it's okay to, check them out if they interest you. But don't let someone try to live out their experiences through you again because they think what they went through was better. You are your own person. You deserve to live your life however you so choose to. Obviously, as long as you're not breaking the law. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a little in too deep with this, but if there's anything to take away from this, it's know who the gatekeepers are, and remember, at the end of the day, always trust your gut, because more often than not, it will always lead you down the right path.